Hello, Klaus. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation for this interview and to be on our show, Woodments. It's a great honor.
The pleasure's on my side. No worries. It's all going to be fun.
For those who might not know Claus Hessler, Klaus is a famous and acknowledged drummer, educator, and author. He's mostly known for his open-handed style and modern technique mastery. He's the author of many great books, such as Camp Duty Update, a terrific book, and Open-Handed Playing. Please check his work on his website, klaushessler.com, and on social media. So, Klaus, tell us about your early years. When did you learn your first rudiments?
My first rudiments was for sure not the first. The first steps on the drums were not connected with rudiments at all, I should say.
Okay.
I started playing drums around age of 4, between 4 and 5, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And for the first couple of years, I did not have a formal teacher. So I began to learn my first rudiments somewhere, most likely between age of 10 and 11, where I had my first real teacher that would, of course, know about rudiments. So you learn the paradiddle, and you learn a 5-stroke roll and the 7-stroke roll. We would not go through all of the rudiments which were around back then, but we for sure covered some, and it was enough to understand, okay, it's some foundation that I would like to have together, but I for sure did not see the full picture.
Okay. So you started with Jim Chapin. How did he affect you as a drummer and as a person?
In many different ways. I mean, on a personal level, what impressed me right away was that I understood that Jim simply knew such a lot about technique, hand technique, and the whole conceptual approach of how a piece of wood inside a human hand can work. So I immediately understood that, and I just trusted his expertise. I just decided to follow his guidance, and the rest pretty much is history.
So, how rudiments relate to modern drumming? Do drummers need to study them in depth?
That's a good question, and there is actually no correct answer to it. It really depends on what you're trying to do with your instrument, the drum set. So, say if you're playing in a cover band, or if you're playing any sort of rock pop music. Rudiments possibly are not a foundation that you absolutely need to have down.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say that, although I love rudiments, but what I still realize is that actually most top-notch drum set players, they understand how rudiments work for them, and they understand the learning process that goes with studying the rudiments and gaining more technical skill based on studying the rudiments.
Yeah.
So from my own perspective, I would say it absolutely makes sense to study them, because it takes you to places where you possibly have not been before. So just for that sake alone, I would say yes, go study rudiments.
All right.
Yeah.
If someone would like to dedicate himself in studying and mastering rudimental drumming, what do you think are the basic steps he or she should follow?
Basic steps. I mean, to me, one of the most important steps is not to be stuck with just one way of holding the stick. So Chapin used to say, whenever somebody tells you there's only one way to hold the stick, run the other way. and he was serious about that, and I didn't catch the complete meaning behind that immediately. I just can tell you he was perfectly right. So that's the one thing. There is not such a thing like the one and only way of holding a pair of sticks. That's one. The other is trying to understand rebound as one of the most unique and powerful resources in drumming, and what rebound and the reaction of the stick can do for you as a player. That is extremely important. So those would be like two very basic and yet very super important aspects of the first steps, let's say.
All right. what led you to write the amazing book of Camp Duty Update? How difficult was it to research for it, and how long did it take you to complete it?
Honestly, how long it took me, I cannot tell. I really can't tell, because a lot of the work that went into the book already took place at a time where I was not even looking into writing a book. So a lot of the information sort of was collected through the years of studying, and with Rudiments always being one of my favorite hobbies, if you will. And so I actually can't tell how long it took me. It must have been a couple of years for sure. And it was also hard to collect the information, because there is a lot of there are a lot of informations around which are very it's hard always to come up with evidence. And was it exactly like that person is writing in that blog? Is it possible, or was there some other piece of the puzzle that I'm still missing? So it was a lot of comparing different sources, and at times also speculating what would be the most likely piece of information, and that would then went into the book. That would then go into the book. Yeah.
Very interesting. So, what can you tell us about the Percussion Creativ organization?
Oh, I mean, first of all, I should say I'm pretty much involved with it because I'm the chairman of it. So, so I have to be involved with it. First of all, it's a non-profit organization which is taking care for the interests of drummers, percussionists of whatever style, whatever age, whatever say musical approach. We just try to combine everything from classical percussion to Latin percussion to drum set to new music to whatever it is, and trying to bring that all together under one umbrella.
All right.
And taking care for Rudiments in that regard was also a big important step for me personally, because I mean, just as the PAS has a list of patterns.
Yeah, you made a Rudimental Codex, correct?
True. And
what is the difference with the 40 rudiments of PAS?
Well, first of all, when you start comparing the lists, you will notice quite some of the PAS patterns are not part of the Rudimental Codex, and vice versa. Needless to say that. What another difference, for instance, is we are relating much more to the European ancient sources of the patterns from Switzerland, parts of Germany, and France, of course, obviously. And we also give people the names in 3 different languages in case we can trace it back that much.
Okay.
And also we give people a serious and reliable, say, source how to really phrase and interpret the pattern in the most authentic way, which is something that the list of PAS rudiments actually does not have. That doesn't say it's not good or
I understand.
anything interfere, and it's not meant to rival the list of the PAS. I'm just saying I have seen too many misinterpretations of rudiments, and I just wanted to avoid these misinterpretations and give people some reliable source of how is a certain rudiment executed and what should you have in mind in a list form. That's pretty much it.
Okay. So you said earlier about grip. How does the traditional grip relate to modern rudimental drumming? Is there a practical reason to use it nowadays, or is it just an aesthetics thing?
I'm tending towards the latter.
Okay.
Honestly. But let's return to the facts. I think playing traditional grip really is the solution if you have a big drum, as it was played back then, like 16 by 16 or 17 by 20, as was Moeller's favorite drum. If you have a big drum which is suspended by a sling across your shoulder, hanging at an angle at your side. Traditional grip was made for that.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, in a nutshell, I do not see the reason why people who have the drum like that in front of them, why would you play like that?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Personally, I don't get it. Traditional grip was not made for that. So for sure, there is some aesthetic aspect to it.
Yeah.
It looks elegant, and if somebody can really play it well, it has a certain look to it. But once the drum is flat, right in front of you, not at an angle hanging at your side, I don't get the clear reason why you should play traditional grip, in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, here in Greece, rudimental drumming and drum corps are not at all popular. What would be your suggestions to raise rudimental drumming awareness in our country so that we can gradually incorporate it in our culture?
Well, first of all, I mean, we can look into a cooperation between, say, drummers in Greece who already have a clue about rudiments, and I assume that there must be some. I'm sure.
Yeah, there are. Of course, there are.
Definitely, and try to connect them under an umbrella. And if we at Percussion Creativ can be a part of helping you guys out to connect you and to help you with further information or come up with some sort of cooperation, even.
Yep. We would love that.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And first of all, I mean, drummers have always been a special breed. There was always some sort of the brother and sisterhood of drummers. And we are different from most other instrumentalists, like from horn players or keyboarders or bass players whatsoever. Drummers have always been special, and they have a tendency to stick together in the sense of the word.
Stick together, yes. Okay. And, that's a great idea. We'll definitely do that.
And if you need assistance, call me. I'm here.
Sure. Thank you very much. So, in your bio, you mentioned the expression bridging the gap between just drums and real-world music applications. Can you elaborate on that? Oh, sure. Are there just drummers?
Well, I'm putting this down because let me step back just a little.
Okay.
In my travels, I have seen a lot of great sounding drummers with, at times, the worst technique in the world. And so if you would close your eyes and you would just listen, you would say, great, it just sounds amazing. Then you open your eyes and you say, it looks a bit weird, but never mind, what the guy plays just sounds great. So that's one thing. On the other hand, I have seen drummers with great technique that would not say anything on the instrument. So what does that mean? First of all, it's about the music. It's about what you say and what you're able to say with your instrument. So bridging the gap between just drums and music, to me, is always a very important step. You learn the tools, you learn the techniques, and you make them your own, so that you can express yourself and your musical imagination. This is what I mean by bridging the gap between just playing a certain pattern in the prescribed way, or making it sound like music through certain, say, secret ingredients, which are not.
All right. How did the coronavirus pandemic crisis affect your professional life?
I mean, needless to say, it affected my professional life quite a lot. I mean, from one day to another. I mean, all the concerts, the workshops, the master classes, everything disappeared in magical dust. Let's put it this way. So all the traveling, of course, has gone these days. The good thing was that even before Corona started, quite a lot of my teaching already took place online. So I had people from Asia, the US, South America, Russia, all around the world, actually, that would study with me online through Skype or Zoom. So all the techniques were already set up, and just my complete teaching, say, activities switched completely to online. So my schedule is busy in terms of teaching, as it always was, if not more. So in that regard, it's kind of all good, because there is no existential loss of funds and money that along with with concerts and gigs being canceled. That's the good thing about it. I mean, the sad thing is, of course, I would have loved to travel and to
of course,
countries and all of that, but it's not possible at this point, and I assume it will not be possible for quite some more months.
You mentioned the Skype lessons. The pandemic forced many drum educators to give lessons exclusively online. Do you think that drum education can be performed this way? Can someone learn how to play drums from scratch just by doing online lessons and watching instructional videos?
Basically, yes. I would just say it's going to be different with different people. But that also holds true for a one-on-one lesson with two people in the same room. Some catch a certain piece of information much faster and in a much more reflected way. They seem to understand faster than a third person, a different person. So it finally all comes down to the most important muscle in drumming, which is located up.
There.
So once this muscle is doing fine, there are ways to start playing drums even from scratch and to really forward high quality, say, educational value, even if it's in an online setting. I'm sure this is possible.
I agree totally. Given the fact that we will get through the pandemic crisis in the near future, are you planning on visiting Greece again at some point? We are looking forward to a workshop or a masterclass here in our country.
I am definitely planning to return to Greece. So I just went to Greece, I think, last year, somewhere November, I guess it was, together with my friend Dom Famularo, where we played a drum event in Athens.
Yeah, I know.
At the art school of Yorgos
Fakanas, yes.
Absolutely, and so Yorgos, of course, a great guy, great musician. So Menios Pasialis.
Yes, Menios.
And Panos Vasilopoulos.
Yes, great guys.
Great people, amazing musicians, by the way, and amazing, smart, friendly. So you can consider yourself lucky to have people like those in Greece.
Yeah, we are lucky.
Forwarding the torch and supply, I mean, really high quality musical and educational standards.
All right. Klaus, I want to thank you very, very much for your time. I really enjoyed our conversation. I'm sure our viewers will too. So I wish you well, be safe, and hope to see you soon again in Greece.
That's what I hope too, Alexander. So thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
It was an honor. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.